Hello, everybody. Again, we're staying on the war theme. The first two episodes talked about how two nations pretty far apart geographically actually have a very similar mindset. Russia and Israel, kind of end times, we're the last ones, fighting, surrounded by enemies, fighting for not just our people, but for our religion. This thinking isn't the same in America. We're actually behaving more like empire and more, actually a lot like the Roman Empire. So a couple of analogies here. People don't realize is Rome never defended its borders. The empire was too big. There weren't enough legions to do it. So what did Rome do? First, monetarily, what Rome did was they demanded tribute. So the way that worked, the legions would go in, conquer a territory, demand tribute, and no one wants to pay tribute. But they'd say, well, tell you what, we're going to give you back the legions. They will keep the roadways clear of bandits. They will keep the Mediterranean clear of pirates. Trade will flourish. You'll make a lot of money, and you may not like paying tribute, but it'll be worth it. The other thing they did was they always had, again, military overmatch. They had tripwire troops throughout the empire. So maybe a detachment here, a company there. And as long as you didn't mess with the Roman troops or their families, there was peace. If, however, you decided to rise up against Rome the way Carthage did back in the day, what Carthage did, they wanted to rise up against the oppressive Romans. They brought in the detachment of Roman soldiers and their families, and it's gross, but in an orgy of blood, they actually just ripped them to shreds. Word got back to Rome. Rome sent the legions. When the legions came, they leveled Carthage, killed everybody, and then sowed salt into the earth so nothing would ever grow there again. Well, you kind of didn't mess with Rome. This was called the Carthaginian peace, but it was military overmatch. Okay, what does the United States do today? Well, we have the PetroDollar system. You must use our currency, if you're a foreign nation, to get oil. That's a tribute system. Everybody wants to use their own currency to buy oil. But what do we say to them? We say, we're keeping the sea lanes clear. We're keeping trade flowing. You're not capable of doing that. Thus, since you don't have that cost, you don't get to use your currency. Well, that's breaking down right now. The second thing is we respond to uprisings the same way Rome did. We don't send the legions, we send the aircraft carriers. We send in the F-16s. Ask Saddam Hussein, ask Muammar Gaddafi. The idea is we will have detachments, tripwire troops all over the world in order to maintain the peace. So what's happening right now? I believe we've lost the war in Ukraine. Russia's going to win this thing. Things are not going exceptionally well in the Middle East. This is exactly what happened with Rome. As the legions were no longer able to maintain peace through this far-flung empire, people stopped paying tribute. And when they stopped paying tribute, then the finances went down in Rome, and we all know what happened with Rome. This is what's happening right now with the United States. The petrodollar system is being reversed. Countries are using their own currencies. It is starting slowly, but it is picking up steam. And if we were to lose military overmatch, who are we then to enforce tribute? Which is exactly what happened with Rome. So what does that mean for us here in the investment world? It means likely at some point out there, you're going to see a devaluation of the currency. That is going to mean rising prices here. It's going to be tough on what I call papery assets. Think stocks, bonds, annuities, cash, CDs. But hard assets, it's pretty hard to devalue corn. Corn is corn, or cotton, or gold, or soybeans, or cattle. This is why you're invested as you are. Each of the major players right now is playing a part we would expect. Russia's doing what it's doing because of its mentality. Same with Israel. They're doing what they're doing because of their identity. They actually have no choice. We're kind of in the same situation. So if you wonder why these wars have cycles, sometimes it's not like everybody wants to go to war. It just feels like they have to. What can we do about it? Well, I think that we ought to raise our voices and say enough. It's time to de-escalate, but that's a whole different story because this is getting far more dangerous than I think most of us want to think about. So rather than go there, just know we are investing with the notion that these wars are going to escalate and the United States is going to be involved in all this and is going to have to make the choice. Do we disengage or do we go all in? If history is any guide, we will likely go all in, which will mean all those things we just talked about. So with that, I'll turn it over to Walt.